All right, let's talk about Jaron Boots Ennis and his rematch with Karen Chukhadzhian. Now, why did they rematch? Because the first fight, Boots won it. It was clear that he won it, but Chukhadzhian wasn't really trying to get involved per se. He was doing a lot of stick and moving, trying to be economical with his punches and trying not to get hit as much, but he did. He got lamped up. But Boots did have some problems catching the moving target. Even though he won it clear on the scorecards, it was a fight that was very frustrating for the fans, and they didn't really want to see a repeat of this fight. But Chukhadzhian, after he lost to Ennis, at the time, Ennis was not the actual champion. Crawford still had the belts at that point. So he was still just the interim champion. And he beats Chukhadzhian on the way to becoming a champion when Crawford then relinquishes all the belts and then he gets elevated to the IBF champion. So in that space of time, it was just a year, over a year and a half, Karen Chukhadzhian had 3 other fights. And in those 3 fights that he had, it pushed him back up into the number 1 position in the IBF rankings. So therefore, Boots now getting the IBF belt, he has to satisfy his mandatories or give the belt up. So therefore, he had to fight Karen Chukhadzhian, which the fight was made. And I believe that Boots thought that Chukhadzhian was going to come with the same tactics of moving and being hard to hit per se, because in my opinion, Boots struggled with that style. And even though he didn't come back with that same style, he still had good movement in his work. And Boots probably did not watch the 3 fights that he had in between the first fight and the second fight, because Chukhadzhian did go in there in them 3 fights prior to this fight, knocking out guys. Even though in the fight prior to this actual fight was against a guy called Harry Scarf from the UK. He didn't knock him out. It was a unanimous decision on the cards, but he did put his foot down on the gas, trying to get him out of there, and then also using his other tactic of the movement style of his fighting. Now, so it looks like he wants to toggle between the pugilist specialist and the boxer puncher, where he will punch you in between the punches as well as have a lot of movement. So coming into this fight, that's exactly what he done. And from round 1, he started to have success. Boots did win majority of the rounds, but he was getting touched up way too much. In that first round, he took a left hook to the jaw that sent him rocked to one side of the ring. And because it was early, and plus Boots does seem to have a good chin, it didn't affect Boots that much other than knock him off balance. Chukhadzhian thought he was hurt, tried to rush in, realized he wasn't hurt, and then became economical again. But he was throwing a lot more punches per round and catching Boots a lot from round 1 to round 12. And even the 12th round, I think Chukhadzhian won that. But in between those rounds, in the 5th round, Boots got a knockdown with good pressure and good shot selection. And then in another one of the rounds, Chukhadzhian had a point deducted for holding. So well done for Boots for winning the fight. He won the fight clearly on the cards. It was another unanimous decision victory. It just showed me that he didn't learn a lot from the last fight that he had with Avanesian, where Avanesian was lamping him up as well. So he's coming to this fight and he's getting lamped up some more. And I'm like, Boots, man, I need you to fix up with the defense, my guy. You're getting hit too easily flush. Chukhadzhian obviously isn't the strongest of punchers. He doesn't always sit down on his punches, and he doesn't seem to have as much power that's needed to knock out a man like Boots. Boots has had a lot of fights, and so I believe he's got a good punch resistance because of the amount of fights that he's had up until this point. But it's still not good to be taking shots like that flush. The best fighters do not take flush punches to the face at all. They block it, they scuffs them on the side, or they do some sort of movement to help them not get punched flush. Boots just seems to always be getting punched flush by these guys. And because he's just levels above them, it seems to not bother him in terms of his willingness to still go forward. But I want to see Boots zone in more. I see him talking to the crowd, talking outside the ring. Guy, you're not there yet. You're not there yet, my guy. And even when you are there, don't be doing that. Focus. If you had focused more and been more strategic about how you went about this fight, you probably could have stopped this guy. I'm listening to your corner, and from what I'm hearing in your corner, I'm not hearing the right things from them in terms of strategizing how to break down the fight in the fight while it's happening. Because obviously you had a game plan coming in, and then things change because your opponent is coming with a different strategy than you thought. So in the fight, you need to have some sort of change of plan to give to the fighter, and I didn't hear that much. Plus, what they were saying to him in the corner, Boots wasn't really following what they were telling him anyway. But well done, Boots. You know, well done. Let's see if we can get these fights on with the other guys in the weight class that have got belts now. We're gonna come back and talk about the aftermath and all of these guys that are talking about the fight and saying what their opinions are of what Boots did in the ring. And I'm not talking about other people that are commenting. I'm talking about boxers in his weight class that are supposed to be his adversaries, the ops per se. So we'll come back to that at some point, because I'm going to make a video about that to talk about the next fight going forward for Boots. Well done, Boots, for winning the fight against Chukhadzhian. Chukhadzhian showed that he's a level above a lot of these guys and what they think. And now that Boots has gone over to Matchroom, he's going to have these fights that are going to test him. And even though he didn't want to have this fight, he ended up having the fight and winning the fight unanimously, but taking some shots. What I don't think he should be taking. Boots, stop taking these shots, man. Fix up that defense, man. Get another trainer. Get a trainer that's a trainer, actually, an actual boxing trainer. Your dad has taken you this far. It's great. He's done a great job. Add to it with a guy that actually knows how to turn you from what you are now into a real champion. And stop taking these shots, my guy. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, you're going to stick with your dad, and so you should. Your dad's in the corner. He's made sure that you've got to this point, and you're a champion. Even though you haven't beaten a champion, you are a champion by email, which is going on a lot in this day and age. Email champion and such like. But you need to beat the other champions in your weight class. We'll see what Eddie does getting you these fights. But for now, well done. And we're going to look into what Brian Norman said after the fight in another video. And we'll see you guys in the next video.